Good morning. My name is Sean Condamori. I'm speaking to you today from Midwest Interventional Spine Specialists, MISS, and I'm speaking on behalf of my partners and my team here at MISS. I'm making this broadcast now so that you know exactly what precautions we're taking on behalf of all of our patients so that everybody stays as healthy as possible. As you all know, we're taking these precautions because of coronavirus and the risk of transmission of this disease. We've had a crazy weekend. Over this weekend, the governor of Illinois has closed on all restaurants and bars, and so many other establishments here in the U.S. Have either limited their hours or they've changed the way they literally do their business, all in an effort to socially distance, to maintain socially, to distance ourselves from each other so that we flatten the curve, so that the number of cases does not escalate to an extent at which our hospitals are unable to manage the onslaught of patients and the need for intensive care and ventilators, et cetera, that are likely in our most seriously ill patients. So with regards to MISS, I want to make it clear that we are taking these precautions seriously, and we've instituted a number of different measures in our office so that we can keep everybody safe. So the hospitals in our area have asked us to have all doctors cancel elective procedures, and we are doing that. But many of our procedures need to happen because these patients have very severe pain and they want something done so that they can be comfortable while they're alone in their homes and unable to really go out because of the new rules that have been put in place by our government and by the CDC and all of the experts. So while we are canceling some procedures that really could be postponed for another couple of weeks, there are some procedures that we will indeed continue to perform and patients that need to be seen. But in so doing, we are going to institute a number of precautions in our office, and we have done that as of this morning, in addition to what we did last week. For one, you will notice that in our office, all our chairs are separated out quite a bit, so the patients are at least 6 feet away from each other, and they are at less risk of transmitting the illness to each other. In addition, upon entry into our facility, you will see a sign on our door that tells our patients that due to COVID-19, all patients will be scanned for temperature. If your temperature is above 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit, you will not be allowed into MISS offices and your appointment will be rescheduled. We are asking, in addition to that, we're asking that all patients come in by themselves into the waiting room. If they need assistance, they can be brought by a family member, but the family member should leave and go back to their car and wait. If our waiting room gets to be a little too crowded, then what we're going to do is we're going to ask patients themselves to wait in their cars until they are brought in, until they are texted or called to come in, so that we limit the number of patients in the waiting room and then limit the contact that you have with each other so that there's less likelihood of transmitting the coronavirus from one person to another. At our window, when you enter the office, the first thing that will happen is you'll have your temperature taken. And when we scan your temperature, if the temperature is above 99.5, you'll be asked to reschedule your appointment. In addition, when you are in the waiting rooms, seeing our medical assistants, nurses, and doctors, can you let me in? Thank you.
You're welcome.
When you're seeing us in our examining rooms, our medical assistants and nurses will see you in a way by which the doctor or nurse will sit at this table, and instead of having a chair right next to the doctor, the chair that the patient sits in will be about 6 feet away so as to limit transmission of the disease. This is all, once again, so that we can reduce any transmission. In addition, of course, we will not be shaking your hands. We'll be elbow tapping instead, or simply greeting you verbally. So again, that is something we've already been doing all week, but we're going to do it for a little bit longer until this disease is under control. please understand that what we're doing here is in the best interest of all of our patients, so that nobody should have any issues with transmission of disease or passing on that illness to older members of your household who are at particular risk of getting disease and suffering a more severe illness. If you come to Serenity Surgical Center, you'll see that the same precautions are being maintained. For example, the waiting room, which is smaller, will have no more than 3 or 4 patients in the waiting room at one time, and the patients who enter along with their family members will be scanned for their temperature by our receptionist, who will be certain to let you know what your temperature is. If it's higher than 99.5, you'll be asked to leave. In addition, all of the staff members at Midwest and at Serenity will also have their temperature scanned. I was 97.2 when I was scanned earlier this morning. As I was saying, the final point was the patients who are brought in, their family members will not be asked to come in with them. They'll be asked to stay in the car so that we again limit any transmission. The patients will be brought from the recovery room by our staff to the patient's car, and they will meet their family member out on the curb when they're dropped off, as opposed to the family member coming in as they normally would. Thank you so much for your attention and your willingness to continue to see us in these trying times. But please note that if you are sick, and by sick I mean if you have a temperature over 99.5, if you have a dry cough, or a sore throat, and especially if you have shortness of breath, you should not be coming in to see us or any other doctors. You should be calling the doctor, letting him know your symptoms, and if the symptoms are considered mild, you'll be asked to stay at home most likely, and to simply isolate yourself at home. If the shortness of breath is more severe, your doctor will likely ask you to go to the emergency room and be seen. But other than that, if you are having any of these symptoms, we do not want you to go in to see any of us at our office or at our surgical center or any of our facilities, or any other doctor for that matter. You don't want to potentially put anybody else at risk. If you are uncomfortable being seen or uncomfortable having a procedure performed, please call us and we'll be very happy to reschedule your procedure or your appointments for a later date when things are a little more, things have settled down a little bit more. Thank you all very much. Have a great day, and please stay safe. Please stay healthy. Thank you very much.